Hi everybody, it's Webby and welcome back to another video. Thanks for joining me again today. In this video we're going to be having a first drive in the brand new Ford Escape. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like, certainly in comparison to the previous model, but also how it stacks up against the competition. The mid-range SUV market in Australia is as popular as any other country in the world, and this car really has to succeed for Ford. Particularly against competition like the Mazda CX-5, the Toyota RAV4. So there's some real stiff competition out there. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this drives. I did make a video a few days ago of a quick look or first look at the actual car itself. I'll put a link up in the top right hand corner for you so you can go and watch that one as well. This duck is really inquisitive. He's come over to see what I'm doing. He's only probably about 3 or 4 feet away from me. Whether I'm on his territory and he's guarding something, I don't know, but he's very inquisitive. Anyway, let's jump in the car and go and have a look and see what it drives like. I actually took the car home last night, so I'm kind of on my way back to work this morning. But I wanted to sort of get a bit of a feel for the car before I gave my impressions about it. But I'll also talk to you a bit whilst I'm driving about certain things like, you know, ride quality, sound quality inside the car, visibility, that type of thing. Because they're all sort of factors that are quite important in a family SUV these days. So yeah, let's jump inside, go for a drive and see what we think. One of the first things that becomes sort of apparently obvious when you start driving a new Escape is actually just how quiet it is inside. I was actually really impressed the first time I got in last night to come home. And the first thing I noticed is you don't feel like you need to raise your voice too much when you're having a conversation with somebody, because the car is so quiet inside, which is really, really impressive. At the moment I'm just going around some sort of smaller country roads, but I'll do a bit of filming when I'm on the freeway just so you can see what it's like there. You do get a little bit of road noise, obviously, depending on, you know, the road surface. But as a general rule, I find it really quiet. I was actually surprised to find out that the indicator is on the left-hand side, not the right-hand side, which surprised me somewhat. Because, yeah, most cars here in Australia, the indicator's on the right-hand side. So for me that was okay, because I've driven quite a few cars with indicators on the left. But yeah, I didn't expect this one to have it, so that's all good though. It's just something for a lot of people to maybe get used to. In terms of ride quality, you can definitely feel there's a firmness about the suspension in this ST line model. But it's not overbearing, it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't make the journey unpleasant. It'll be interesting to see what the other two models are like in comparison that haven't got the sport suspension, just to see sort of how much softer they are. But obviously the plus point to getting firmer suspension is you do get, you know, if you're going through a faster corner, you've got a sort of a flatter ride, which is nice. The visibility is really good. You feel like you sit up quite high, which is nice because you've got a really good sort of field of view. Yeah, all the windows have, you know, plenty of light comes in, all your angles are good. There's no, well, I don't find there's any sort of real blind spots to the car. And if there is, you know, the blind spot monitor takes care of that anyway. The rear window's actually not too bad size either. A lot of modern cars, the rear window tends to get a bit forgotten and it's a bit slim. But no, it's actually quite decent size in this one. So because this car's got the optional ST line pack, I've got the nice head-up display in front of me, and it actually makes it quite easy to read things like your speed and that you're travelling at. If you've got the traffic sign recognition switched on, you can see the speed limit of the road you're travelling on, and other information as well. But it just makes it easy to see, you don't have to take your eyes off the road quite so often. I like the fact that the centre armrest can slide forwards as well, because in some cars it's fixed and it's kind of like, well, it doesn't necessarily suit where your arm naturally falls. But yeah, the fact that it's adjustable is quite nice. The base model and the ST line have both got the standard speaker setup for the audio system, and I have to say it's actually quite good. So it'll be interesting to see how much better the B&O system is in the Vignale model. Now, if you've never had one of these rotary dials before, and I suspect a lot of people wouldn't, it probably feels a bit alien at first, but it does you get used to it really quickly, and after a while you don't even think about what you're doing. You kind of just twist it left or right to change gear. But it makes it sort of nice and neat down here in the centre console. So the 2-litre turbo engine in the new Escape, which develops 183 kilowatt and 387 newton meters of torque, is definitely a good thing. It gets up to sort of, freeway speed limits really quickly, and it's going to be great at going up hills, overtaking. You're never going to think, oh, I wish I got a bit more power. And it makes me, I struggle to sort of understand how some other manufacturers can put an engine in there, and I'm not going to name names, but I'm not going to say anything, but there is one particular medium-sized SUV which has got a 2-litre petrol engine in it, non-turbo I might add, and it's got 106 kilowatt and 200 newton meters of torque. That's not going to do much for you, is it, in a family-sized SUV? That's going to do absolutely nothing. So yeah, pleased to report, engine and gearbox, fantastic. The only downside, because it gathers pace so quickly, yeah, you have to be a bit careful with the throttle pedal, because you'll be very quickly going over the speed limit. So now we're on the freeway. There's probably a little bit more road noise than sort of going around town, but that could just be because of the surface on the road. Different sort of type of bitumen or tarmac or whatever they use, but it's still not too intrusive. You can still have the conversation with your passengers without having to shout too much. Just down here in the centre console you've got a button for changing the driving modes, and when you do that the digital display changes in front of you. So by default it starts up in normal mode, but each time you press the button it just cycles through the different modes. So from normal you've then got economy, you've got sport, slippery, deep, snow and sand, and then back to normal. And each time I press the button you can kind of feel the car adjusting and setting itself up for that particular driving mode. So they do obviously do something. They're not just a button that's there basically. While we're just driving along, I'll point out some other bits and pieces that have changed with the new Escape. On a lot of other cars in the Ford range, you'd use the digital display in front of the driver to set up all your driver assist settings. But now in this car it's actually changed and it's all over on the Sync 3 system. When actually it's a lot easier to use, because most people nowadays are used to pushing buttons on the mobile phones to change settings and bits and pieces like that, whereas doing it through here was probably a little bit more fiddly. But on the screen it's a much bigger screen, and touchscreen is obviously a lot easier. So I like the fact that they've transferred some of the settings over to there. And I've noticed the screen in this is a lot sharper than some other cars like a Ranger or an Everest, so it's obviously a better quality screen. One thing I've noticed, and this might sound a little bit strange, is there's actually a decent amount of space in the driver's footwell. So if you've got quite big feet, you're not sort of bashing both pedals at the same time when you're trying to accelerate or brake. which, yeah, when you look at it from a safety point of view, is actually really important. Yeah, it's nice because you can just, yeah, relax a bit, I suppose, particularly when you're in the freeway and you've got the cruise control on. Because the ST line has got a black headlining, it does feel fairly dark in here. It would be nice if you could have the option of a sunroof, but unfortunately you'd have to go to the Vignale model if you want a sunroof. So it's just started raining outside, so yeah, rather than stand outside and get wet and finish the video off, I'll end it here. Come and have a drive of the new Escape. It's really, really impressive. I've really enjoyed it. There's lots of positive stuff. Such an improvement over the old model, and compared to other cars in the market as well. I think it's going to really do well for Ford, and that's not just because of work there. It's, you know, I get to drive lots of cars. It feels really good to drive. The engine's fantastic. It's definitely going to give the sort of the models in this sort of category a real good run for their money. So yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm going to try and bring a video of the Vignale as well, because we've got one of those in stock at one of our other dealerships. So when I get the chance, I'm going to pop over there and make a video of the Vignale, just to see the differences in the spec compared to sort of the other two models. If you've enjoyed the video, obviously give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, because you'll then find out when the next video review is uploaded. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions or there's any bits and pieces that I've missed, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them as soon as possible for you. In the meantime, stay safe, have a good day, and I'll see you soon.